2016, I met this borderline. I did all right. Usually when, by the way, all right, so I met her on like this like random trolley. Around our city we have free buses. Like most cities don't have free transportation. We have like free trolleys and shit. So I met her there, and she was trying to look at me, but she was trying to play it off. And I can tell when someone's looking at me. I have, my senses are on overload. So basically, it was kind of getting on my nerves because she was all up in my face, but really trying to pretend she wasn't. So I moved to a different seat. Then I got off, and I noticed that when I got off the little trolley and I was walking home, that she was following me. And I was like, wait a minute, is this chick following me? Because I could kind of feel and sense when someone's behind me. So I turned around and asked her, I was like, you follow me? And she was like, no, I live around here. And I was like, here? She's like, yeah, I live around this neighborhood. I was like, wait, I live around here. I've been living around here for like 2 years. I ain't never see you. And so I asked her about herself because, she was fine as hell. She was, she's real fine.
Was she the Latin girl you were talking about?
She's not Latin. She's Thai. She's half Thai.
Okay.
So basically, I was asking her about modeling and stuff like that because I was trying to get back into photography.
Oh shit, she was a model? Oh.
No, she's not a model. She's not a model. She could be a model.
Okay.
Because she looks like, but I was asking her about that. She wanted to model for some of my pictures because I wanted to do some graphic designs. And I make art. So basically, she was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I started to walk away. I was like, all right, sometimes we have to link up or something. So I started to walk away. And I noticed that she was still walking with me. I was about to go into place. I didn't think she was going to hang out then and there, but then she followed me up the steps and she was in my apartment within like 10 minutes. So basically, we was hanging out and I didn't even have a camera. This is the funny part. I didn't even have a camera. I was thinking about getting back into it, but I was, I had her on the bed doing model poses and I was like moving her around like, she let me move her around and stuff like she was a damn mannequin. I was just positioning her how I wanted to.
This is the first night chilling? You got this broad on the bed doing all types of shit?
This is the first day within 30 minutes.
Yo, in 30 minutes, you meet on the bus, and then you got on the bed doing, spread your eagle on, girl. Go ahead, get your eagle on. You know that song from Nelly, Get Your Eagle On, girl. Words. Okay, goddamn.
So basically, I do move hella fast because I'm very smart. I can accelerate that process. I can bypass some walls that other dudes be stuck at. So basically, I was thinking in my head, let me tell you, all right, because I can be savage sometimes. I grew up in the hood. I'm an intellectual, but, I'm not like a saint. Don't think of me as a saint. I'm not a saint. So basically, I was thinking in my head, she is kind of fine. Maybe I should just fuck her. That's what I was thinking in my mind. But then I started to talk to her and she started she had depth to her. She actually was like smart as shit. I was like, oh, damn, this is actually, she's a higher quality female than I'm used to seeing because she actually can hold conversations and she can talk about real stuff in the world, not just materialistic shit. So I just backed off. I just changed my whole thought process. I was like, I'm not gonna try to. So I hung out with her for 4 hours that day. So I hung out with her for 4 hours that day. We just hung out, we walked around and stuff. And
so hold on, let me cut you off right there for the players. So you met the girl at the bus, you had her at the crib doing poses on your bed, doing the eagle dance, just and now so you ended up chilling with her 4 hours that day then. No. Crazy. Okay, that's crazy.
So we was walking around. And within probably an hour, I noticed something. And I even told her, I said, why are you so vague? She was kind of vague about her responses. Whenever I asked her, little icebreakers and just trying to get to know somebody. You ask them what they like, what they do, all this other, life stuff. I couldn't really. It was like talking to a door almost, like a door that wasn't open. And I could pick up on that because I usually can tell what people are thinking in person. Like, it's like an invisible, like, it's not like I can hear their thoughts or anything like that. I could just pick up on this extra information. I can't really explain it. Yeah, it's a lot deeper too, because I can go into their thoughts almost and kind of accurately explain to them what they're thinking. Some people be getting scared by that, but I just can pick up on. I couldn't pick up on nothing with her. Nothing. It's like looking into emptiness. So I was like, yo, why can't I like feel her presence, if you will? And so that got me interested. And I got her number eventually when I left. Fast forward probably 3 weeks. I'm hanging out with her probably twice a week. Then after that, I say within a month and a half to 2 months, I'm hanging out with her almost every day.
Damn.
Like every day almost. Like around the second month though, because I knew she was kind of depressed. Like after about 3 weeks, she told me she was kind of depressed and there's a lot of stuff going on in her life. But really what it was is that she's a borderline. And one of the symptoms of borderline personality disorder is that they can get depressed because it's all about their moods. And was your chick depressed? Just real quick, I want to know that. Can't remember if you said yes.
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know if she was depressed, but I know that she was good at manipulating her emotions. Like, if she wanted to cry and make me feel guilty, she could do that at a drop of a hat. And then 5 minutes later, fuck me, Solo, fuck me. I'm like, okay, goddamn.
All right, this is interesting because where this comes in, at first I couldn't read her. Then I learned she was kind of depressed. I was trying to help her with that because I started to like kind of grow used to her, kind of get attached to her. Because at first, it wasn't like I instantly just wanted to date her. Like I say, after about 2.5, 3 months, 4 months going in, I was kind of noticing. I was like, I really started to like her, and I wanted to date her or something. So one day, this is the first time I had to ever do this. I actually confessed to her that I liked her. Like usually it happens naturally. I was like, I need to just tell her straight up because this shit's crazy. Right. So I told her, and she just like, it was like a wall, like a blank wall. She was like, she spaced out. It was like a robot going to shutdown mode. She just completely spaced out on me when I was telling her this. And I'm like, did you even hear me?
No.
She's like, oh yeah. She's like, I just can't really get in relationships right now. I never felt romantic feelings towards anyone ever in my life, ever. Right. And I was like, damn. She's like, I'm going through a hard time. Just give me like, 2 months to try to hopefully get better, and then I'll answer you then. I was like, all right, but we can still hang out and stuff. She's like, yeah. So I was hanging out with her the following days after that. And then one day she just randomly told me, she was like, okay, I have borderline personality disorder. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. Because I didn't really know what borderline was. My dumb ass used it with split personality disorder, which was a mistake. That was a mistake. I mistranslated what she said, so I was just like, okay. And I was like, I can kind of work with that. I was like, but then I didn't know what it really was, so I started to notice it more and more. And she did like the first few months, like 2 months, she hid it so well. Like all I could tell is that she was vague and kind of closed off. I couldn't tell she was like emotional up and down. But then after a while, I started to notice. And the more she started to like me, it was like pain for them, because borderline, some of them, when they like you, to them that's a danger because you could abandon them. That's the fear of a borderline.
Yes, the abandon. Yes.
So once they like you, it's like, oh shit, this person's dangerous. Ironically, they want to get away from you the more they like you. And the people they don't like, they hang around because to them, those people ain't shit. It's like, if they leave, what about it? It's like, they don't care about them, but the people they care about, it's like, it's backwards. So basically, after a while, I started to be able to Oh yeah, she was also fading off her antidepressant pills. So she went through withdrawals for like probably I say 3.5 weeks. That was pretty fun because she would go up and down. Sometimes we'd be talking in the middle of conversation. Imagine if you just walked up and left in the middle of me saying everything I'm saying right now. You didn't say, "Oh, I'm about to go home" or nothing like that, or "I'm about to leave," or "I want to talk later." You just got up and walked away. That's what she used to do sometimes. And I never let her leave. I was like, "Where you going?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm going home." I'm like, in the middle of the conversation, you didn't even say anything. She's like, "Was I supposed to?" I was like, "What the fuck? This bitch really tripping." So after a while, I started to learn how to read her. And it's ironic because she always liked me. It's just that was the problem. For her, it was like she likes me. I could abandon her. You know, she even said one time, opening up to someone makes you vulnerable. That's her mindset. Opening up to someone makes you vulnerable. So imagine how hard it was to actually get her to be in an interpersonal relationship with me. Now I can read her thoughts like it's nothing. Anything she do, I don't care how borderline-y it is, it can't trick me. Because borderlines, if you ever dealt with one, people in the comment section, they're confusing as shit. Like you think it's hard enough to understand what a regular female is thinking. Try to understand what a borderline is thinking at any given time. It's to the point I know what she's thinking before she even can say it. Like I can read her personality or her mood that day, depending on a text. And she used to say to me, "Oh, I don't know why I'm scared of you," because she used to be scared of me. Not because of anything like physical or abusive, but because I used to be able to call her out on bullshit.
Nigga beat her ass like Ray Rice. I'm joking.
No.
Feminist, I'm joking.
No. It's one day she actually told me to hit her. It's funny because
hold on. Wait. She told you to what, nigga?
Hit her.
Wow.
And shit, I just remembered another story I gotta tell you. After this, hold on, let me write this shit down. I just gotta write one word so I can remember it. Hold on.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. When you get together with another guy who's
boring.
One time she told me to hit her because I was there's like points where I call her out on her shit. And no one calls her out on her shit because they coddle her. Borderlines, they make you feel like sympathy for them. You almost want to baby them. Like, "Oh, what's wrong?" Like they always make you feel like you're guilty and you have to like, apologize to them and stuff like that. I used to expose her. I used to be like, "Yeah, you thinking this and that because you want this reaction." She couldn't say shit because she knew it was true. And then one day when I was lecturing her, try to tell her like, "I know you're depressed, but you need to keep, basically going on with life." She was suicidal at some points. She was like, "Oh, there's no purpose to life," some borderline shit. And then she was like, "Hit me." It's like, because one day I was like, because she told me this story. She told me this story how this guy was trying to hit her one day because she pissed him off and people had to hold him back. And I was like, damn, I can see when you're acting like this why a guy would want to hit you. Like you're acting very like just horrible. You're just acting like garbage right now. And she was like, hit me then. Like she was smiling and shit. I was like, the fuck? I was like, I'm not gonna hit you. Like I would never hit you, definitely because I consider her like, my love interest. I was like, I'm just trying to tell you that when you behave like this, you get a certain type of feedback or a response from these guys or anyone because your behavior. So she was like, hit me, at least I can feel something then. She was saying like, I was like, okay. And then one time I was about to this same conversation, I was about to put my hand on her shoulder and she flinched so fucking hard. Yo, she flinched like I was about to hit her with a Mike Tyson fucking hook. I was like, damn, I was just about to put my hand on your shoulder. You keep telling me to hit you. Now you paranoid. I told you I'd never hit you. And it's funny though, I use that example to prove to her, you don't even want me to hit you. You're just saying some borderline stuff. And by the way, another thing about borderlines, by the way, they'll say one thing, but in the back of their mind, all while they're saying it, they do not want to say it. They'll be like, "Oh, fuck you, leave, go away," because they're trying to push you away. It's a self-defense mechanism. So you won't abandon them, they get rid of you first.
They don't want you to leave?
Yeah, once they're saying go away and stuff, they don't want you to leave. They don't want you in the back of their mind. It's like they're a prisoner. They have to watch it happen because it is a mental disorder, but they cannot stop it. She even told me that some nights she cries because she'll push people away, and it's like she didn't mean to. But then again, you know, they suppress their feelings too. So after it's all said and done, without therapy, they'll never try to, like, you know, reconnect those relationships. They'll just let it, you know, stay suppress their feelings. They do reckless shit. There was one point where she was doing cocaine out of nowhere because she was trying to fix herself, and then that was annoying.
Hold up.
Huh?
Doing cocaine during the relationship, or was this outside of the relationship?
No, this was just like, she never even did cocaine before. She never smoked cigarettes or anything. She just did that to try to fix herself. So she did it for like a week. She was doing any and everything. She was drinking, she was experimenting with like substances in order to try to fix herself. Now, let me tell you something though. It's interesting. Animal therapy helps a lot because I still talk to her here and there. I keep it very spread apart instead of